basically where you will see the first step of a condom. Is that you will see that the condom gets dipped into rubber. Okay, that's latex. So that's the first forming stage. Then it gets withdrawn, it goes into the oven. You know, one thing, a lot of people when they see this, a lot of guys always are shocked because they always ask me, is it that big? Well, it does shrink to a certain extent a little bit because, you know, after it dries off, it shrinks off a little bit. So if you want a dotted condom, you change the cylinders. If you want a larger condom, then obviously the mold will be changed. If you want the flavors, that's added at a later stage. But if you want a color, that's where you would add the color right now. So you would put a pigment, a color pigment into the latex. You would dye the latex, then you get a red condom or whatever it is. So this is where the first step of a condom, when it comes out, you would actually see that it's rather opaque. It's rather white, right? And then it sort of turns translucent as it gets dry. And we cool this down here. We just want it to cool down because we don't want a hot former to go back into the oven, into the dipping process again. A lot of people actually do not know is that there is actually 2 layers in every condom already. So it's dipped again for the second time so that you give added strength. You know, if there is any areas that needs to be having additional cover, the second layer would actually give a cover. I would sometimes tell people, you know, it's a little bit like tissue paper, right? You have 1 ply, 2 plies. You know, the 2 plies will definitely be stronger than the 1 ply. So one thing I always tell a lot of users, don't use 2 layers of rubber because we already give you 2. So, you know, in fact, if you use 2 condoms at one time, the breakage perspective could be higher. You know, it could even break easier. Where you see here is basically the final step of where the condom comes in. It will be dried up. Then what we do here is a leaching process. So you see, you use chemicals along the process, but you also want to take off some of the excess chemicals. And there are some people in the West especially who talk about being latex allergy. Well, yeah, you know, the thing is actually a lot of people do not realize that people are actually allergic to protein that are found in latex. So what we do here is that it's a process that we remove the protein. So that's why you probably don't hear as many people around the world that are latex allergy or condom allergic. So from here, you get them leached off, and then the final stage, it just gets stripped out. This is where it's a live video we shoot. So that's how it comes off. It just passes through a strong water jet, and it just washes the condom out. And then from here we continue to rinse and we continue to start washing the condom again. And then the process starts all over again. So that's where the condom comes out. There is just a little tumbling machine that just tumbles and removes excess water. And whatever you get here is then you get its first step of a raw condom. Then from here, because you know rubber is actually very sticky, so what you do is that you need to get them powdered, because if not, the condom will stick together. And then basically here is where you then, you know, you wash the condom with powder, and then from here we put it into a dryer. In this area, it's a little bit like commercial laundry area. So you wash the condom, you dry them, and then from here we will test the condoms. What we call an in-process lab. So as the products are being run, there will be products that will always be tested, because you know, condom is not just a consumer product, but it's a medical device. So it's guided by the international standards in terms of the safety levels of a condom, and you know how we need to be testing condoms all the time. What we do here is that we are constantly testing the latex. We look at the raw materials, we test the incoming, we test the processes as well, because sometimes you know you could have latex inside, and generally you know temperatures could be warmer if the characteristic of the latex has changed to any aspect, we want to know. Generally, when the condoms are made, you want to know if the condoms you made has holes, right? And the most important thing is that how do you make sure that the condoms has no holes? We would actually put water into the condom. So this is basically on a random basis. So these condoms are then all eventually destroyed, they are all thrown away. And we are trying to find for holes. And this is rather stringent because, you know, it's 300 mils of water, and what they do here is that, you know, they're adding pressure as well. So you could have a little micro hole, but, you know, once you add pressure into it, you know, you can detect any holes. A very small hole can be detected. So this is where you start to do an inflation test. So we would inflate a condom to see how much air it fits before it bursts. There is actually an international standard to it. So if you look into a condom, it has to pass at 18 volume, 18 liters, and it has to meet a minimum 1.0 kilopascal pressure. So this one here, number one, this just passed. This just passed international standard. So that's the size you need. Before a condom is being shipped out, we would test them at least 3 times. In some countries, when you ship them out, the country would do in-house testing again, in-country testing. That would probably be 4 or 5 times. So condoms are very safe. After the washing and after the condoms are dried, every condom, so when you read on the pack, you will find that there is always a saying there on the condom that condoms are 100% electronically tested. Alright, so this is basically how condoms are being tested electronically, because we need to know if the condom has holes or not. So what we do here is basically you put the condom back onto a steel mandrel, right? And you actually see here that it runs through a brush, okay? And that brush is basically it's a carbonized brush. It's a rubber brush, and almost 2,000 volts of electricity is passed through. It basically works on the whole concept that rubber is not conductive to electricity. If there is a hole, means there would be a detection where there is a short circuit detection, then the condoms will be immediately rejected. And then it gets rolled up as well, so the good ones comes here and the bad ones goes into a reject bin. So that's where the condoms just now, they're already rolled up. So we now start to put them into the loading machine, and then it starts getting loaded onto the machine here. So you see there's a little squirt of lubricant. That's strawberry right now. You drop that lubricant onto it, immediately it gets sealed. The lot number expiration date is there. We just got a person just to reconfirm and making sure that everything is working fine. So this is where condoms are now being foiled. So you got all these flavors right now, because this is all the flavors that you put into the product. We do a lot of brands for a lot of customers around the world. We do for hundreds and hundreds of brands. People like the innovation, people like the variation of varieties that they can get from us. You see all these little varieties on the table. They are packed all the way from Congo to Philippines, or you're going up to Mongolia. We do a lot of brands for people because there are not many condom factories, but there are thousands of brands around. So there are a lot of brands who comes to us. So like we are always the people behind numbers of brands. It just goes out to the warehouse and then we ship them out, and then we test them again. So as the largest condom maker in the world, you know, we have to make sure that quality is always our utmost priority.